It's the Yep Yeah Yes podcast with Marissa and Tamika.
Look, I'd rather be a gambler than a weedhead.
I walked in, sat down, had to leave, and violently vomited.
I'm not going down that hole. I'm not. Don't even try me. Not today, Satan. Not today. I value my friendship. You're the cream. And the coffee is life. Life. You bring cream to my life.
Oh, I'm not sure.
Once a week for an hour.
Howdy.
Howdy, your beverage looks very cold and refreshing.
Well, it's quarter water and tequila. Remember the quarter
Girl,
water?
in the jug.
Yeah.
Do you know one of my students today brought that in for her birthday treat? A case of the quarter waters. I have not seen that in 1,000 years.
Yeah, my
Is
mom
it delicious?
my mom got a case for her barbecue last weekend, and so I brought some back with me. And I had a bottle of wine, and I tasted it, and it was sour. So I was like, spit that out. It was so nasty, and so I was like, I want to drink though, because I only really drink on the weekends for the most part.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, I got quarter water. All I got in my fridge is water and like 4 bottles of quarter water. So I was like, okay, I got 2 of the grape. I was going to put 2 grape bottles in. 1 grape filled up the whole thing. I didn't realize there was so much in there. I poured it in, poured a little bit of my De Leon. Shake, shake, shake.
Shake.
And
sip, sip, sip. It's good.
Very.
I gotta try that.
I have to get a piece of quarter water. But we're having a barbecue at my house, next month. So I think I'm gonna buy a case of quarter water, and I'll buy some cheap tequila, for the
put people on,
because I don't want them coming in here, trying to get my good stuff. So if I buy a cheap bottle of tequila
that stays outside
in the cooler,
mm-hmm.
Stays fresh in the cooler with the ice.
That's it.
No complaining. It's all good.
That's it.
Anyway, so yes, it's nice and refreshing. Nothing like your coffee, but it's nice and refreshing. Is your coffee hot or cold?
It's hot.
Oh, is it?
Well, right now it's warm because I'm gulping it.
It looks like iced coffee. It looks so light. It looks
only on the camera. It looks like my skin tone.
No, it does not. I know you like to think you're darker than you are.
It doesn't come off the same on your camera as it is mine.
In front of your chin, like your body. Yeah, like that. It's darker. It matches my chest.
Okay.
Anyway, so today we're going to be talking about code switching. Okay. We've mentioned it a few weeks ago, and we got a comment from one of our followers who said he never heard what code switching was. So I said, you can have a conversation. I think people do it without even realizing it. I do want to, I have so back in 2013, NPR, they had a blog series dedicated to code switching. And so one of the things they had was like the top 5 reasons why people code switch. So I'm going to share that. I'm going to share my screen so you can see, so everybody can see what those top, I basically copied them and then, kind of put it on.
Which is such a great article, FYI.
Yeah, it's not bad. If I can get to it, here we go.
I really do like NPR. I like the topics that they have.
You put me onto it, so All right, reasons for code switching according to NPR. Number 1, our lizard brains take over. So what do you think about that? Like,
well, to give further context, that's more like, let's say you're bilingual and yells in Spanish, if people understand what that means. So what that means is like, okay, I'm bilingual. Let's say I'm in Puerto Rico and I'm speaking Spanish. If I get scared, I'm going to yell in English. I'm not going to yell in Spanish. Right. So that's kind of what they mean by that when it says our lizard brains take over, we code switch.
Basically, when I don't know if it can just be bilingual. Because if it's like,
That's just the example I'm giving.
Right,
So
right.
in your fight or flight moment,
right,
whatever it switches to. So like, let's say again, another perfect example. Let's say one of my students' parents at a parents PTA meeting decides to square off with me. The way I'm speaking right now is probably not what's going to come out if we're going to square off. It's that fight or flight.
okay.
What do you?
How would you, I want to see the two differences. Show me that. Something pop off, show me how that gonna be. I want a taste of the pop off, Marissa.
I don't have one.
You just said it.
It's gotta be fight or flight.
Okay. All right, I got you. The next one is we want to fit in. I believe this. I think I've done this. I think you've done this. I've seen you do it. I've seen a lot of people do it. I appreciate the people that don't do it, but I don't know if they don't do it because they're just like, they don't give a shit. But don't we all do that in some aspect?
Well, so hold on a second. Let's back up. I don't want to fit in. That's not why I code switch. I think your ear gets tuned into something that you're used to, and it just becomes your vernacular.
I don't know. I mean, I can see that, but I took it as that, like, you want to fit in. I think a lot of things in life.
Oh, I'm saying my personal. When you said you've seen me code switch, I'm not code switching because I want to fit in. I do see people doing that because they want to fit in. When I've code switched.
What I'm saying, I don't think people realize how much they want to fit in when they're in the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like we've had this conversation about before, how you don't like the word jealousy, right?
I don't. Yeah.
But and you know, I think when the conversation that we had in the past, you kind of saw where I was coming from. Not that you totally agree with me, but we had a conversation. It was basically like, I don't think people want to say that they're jealous, but there are aspects where it's like FOMO. But we get caught up in the word jealousy, the J word, when the truth of the matter is it's a feeling that a lot of us have about certain situations. And so when I say that we want to fit in, it's like we see something like, oh, that's a party or something like that. I want to fit in that party. I want to go over there. I want to, quote unquote, assimilate.
Okay.
What do you think?
Well, I'll agree to disagree. I think we want to fit in could have two connotations. One is just like the way you defined it, and
Right.
the other one could be defined in an inauthentic way.
Okay, cool. We want to get something.
So if you defer back to that NPR article,
Right.
so here's how they delve into that topic. They talk about how people, there's a claim that a Southern accent makes it so sweet, and like, let's say servers, if they speak to you in a Southern accent, a drawl or a y'all, that they get tipped more.
Mm-hmm. So I can see that
Okay.
you want to get something. I can also see, like, I one thing that came to mind with us is being in Argentina and me begging you to speak Spanish, because I knew by speaking it we could get a little bit further in certain circumstances. Overall we're good. Overall we're good. But between the two of us, like, I don't know either. Well, I know how we can figure this out. Just ask the motherfucker in Spanish. Even though it's not the same dialect, they gonna figure it out.
So, and that's another thing that I do when I code switch, because I'm often not looked at or claimed. But when I start seeing people speak in Spanish, that I'll say something, and you see the look, and they're like, oh, well, if you just give me 2 minutes. It might be an extra, I don't know what, or it might be like, oh, go this way, don't go that. Talk to her, not to him. Like,
Right.
Okay. So yeah, I actually do code switch like that. Yes.
But I mean, it's understandable when you have two distinct languages, because code switching really is about language.
Mhm.
It's about, how we use our language and what we use our language, how we use our language to our benefit. And if you're bilingual or trilingual or whatever the case may be, the benefit of being able to use one of those languages to get a perk or to get, access or anything like that, it goes a long way. And so like when I was saying in Buenos Aires, it's like you and I are great on our own traveling, but that
Mhm.
little bit of, hola, ¿cómo está? It can go a
Yeah.
long way
Yeah.
when you're American. And in some country that endears people. It's like they're like, oh, they're like,
But baby girl was you had no trouble in Argentina because you were all the rage out there.
oh, whatever. But that's another.
Am I lying though?
That's another. I
That's
was
another
all the
topic,
rage at the
okay.
end. At the end when I figured it out. In the, I blossomed.
You were all the rage. You didn't realize you were the rage.
Right. I blossomed. I was raging against the machine until I realized, oh, I am the machine. What am I doing?
Okay.
So we want to say something in private. Number 4.
Yeah. Well, actually, you and I have our own language.
What's that?
And I'm not divulging none of our words or none of our codes.
Oh no, we
but
definitely
you and
have words and codes like that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I thought you
Yep.
meant I thought you meant something different. But yeah, we definitely
Mhm.
have word like I was telling this past week, I was telling my cousin, because she was in front of, you know what, I'm not okay, I'm gonna get part of it. So, but what I'm talking about. So I was talking to my cousin, and she has 2 really little kids, but so she doesn't like to use the word white people, black people, when she started having conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like whispering the word white people. And that always weirds me out, because I'm always like, there's going to be a day where the kids get it. So either they get it from you,
Right.
or they get it from Bobo down the block.
Yeah.
So either
Exactly.
be real with them. They're either going to learn "fuck you" from you, or they're going to learn it from so and so down the block, and then you're going to be shocked. Like, how did you hear that? I'd rather, I mean, this comes from a person doesn't have any kids, but I'd like to, if I did have kids, I'd like to believe that I'd want my kids to learn everything positive
From
and
you.
negative from me. So anyway,
Okay.
I told her, all right, well, the word that I use when I'm describing white
Mhm.
people in front of public people, and I don't want
Right.
anybody to know, I use a certain word. And so she started using it. It was kind of funny. And
It's
I use it with you all the time.
yeah, and it's funny too because it's like, but again, like it's part of our secret codes.
Right.
But it's funny how like once you start putting people on to like how we're gonna talk to each other while we're in it's so funny how it all of a sudden becomes their vernacular too.
Right. Exactly. It's crazy. It helps us convey a thought. Number 5. That's the fifth thing.
Yeah.
What do you think?
1,000%. Because if I wanted to describe a certain type of person, you know what? I'll just say stereotype. If I want to stereotype someone, I might say like, this reference is going to get lost on a lot of people and I might offend a lot of people. So I'm not going to say, but like, let's say I say a town. And I'm like, oh, that person is very, and then the town, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So
right.
Yeah, I do that still.
Yeah, sorry, my computer is like telling me it's gonna shut down. Sorry. Okay, cool. It's like I'm gonna install updates now. It's like, Mofo, you don't see I'm on Zoom? Now you want to do the updates? My computer been open for like an hour. What'd you say? I didn't even know what you said. I got so distracted. I'm sorry. My bad.
It's like you want to convey a thought.
Right.
So it's like, so of course, like you might say something that it's going to be regional to us. Like we could be, like you said, like we could be in Argentina. We're like, oh, this is the such and such of Argentina.
Right.
Like, oh yeah. Yeah.
Right.
I see that.
So in your work life and familial life, friend life, are there any situations you can recall that you can share that where you code switched?
Mhm. So I'll use my, I was just about to give you 3 examples in work, but I can't do that. I will give you, okay, my dad's side. I have 4 aunts. And when my brother and I are talking, you and I, like
Why
you and
would
I are talking.
That for? I don't understand.
No, because I'm not gonna put words in nobody's mouth, but like if you're right here, so you could be like yay or nay.
Okay.
So like when you and I are talking, I'll be like this certain aunt, I'll be like, oh, you know how she prices rights things? And you're like, oh yeah. Cause I have this aunt who like when she wants to present something to you, she does the whole
Right.
and look at the features. And the battery goes here. And then you could press the power button here. Look how cute. I get Chuchi, right? And look, I can put it in my pocket and I can take it out of my pocket. And you're like, okay, thank you. And then I have another aunt who you're like, if you're picking out like, I don't know.
Wait, and continue it after you continue with it after you say, I got the same one.
Exactly. And then you're like, oh, we twins, right? But did you notice that you could do the mute button?
Right.
And then you
Then
could
just
do
gotta be,
a
oh
night
wow,
mode.
wow, really? Yeah. Anyway,
And did you know that there's a night mode? Oh, and Bluetooth. I don't know how that works, but Bluetooth. You know how Bluetooth works? Oh, because you're gonna have to show me. Come here, sit down with me 1 second. And do you know about dim display? Okay, you're gonna have to show me that one too. We'll get together. and then I got like another one who's like, I don't know, like let's say if I wanted, like I have an aunt who like, if I'm gonna describe a piece of clothing for you, you know how like there's clothing that like only a certain type of woman who carries herself can wear, or man, whatever, a person, a certain type of person can wear. So if I said to you like this, I got something, it's nice, but it ain't me. And you're like, why? Oh, it's very this one. And you're like, I know exactly what you mean. It's nice, it's this, whatever, but I would not be able to pull it off.
Right.
That bitch could pull it off. And you know exactly which 2 aunts I'm talking about. And then I got another one that like,
But
like,
how is this code switching?
because here's the thing though. So if I said to you, oh, I'm talking to my aunt, which one? Price is Right. You know exactly who I'm talking about.
Yeah, but how is that code switching? How are you changing how you're speaking?
So what I did was I'm using different codes. I'm code switching. So like each one conveys their
But
their
you're
thought
more like
process differently.
describing, you're not changing your language to describe them. You're not changing your personality and how you convey.
But let me finish the thought. So see, the way you speak with them is different because you don't get excited for nothing. And you don't change your whole body language, but you completely change your whole body when you speak to one aunt. Like Price is Right. When you speak to her, you're like, oh, yeah, oh, exciting. Oh. And the other one, you're like, wow, okay, all right,
I feel like I
okay.
like them all the same.
You match energies.
Do I?
Mm-hmm.
I think I definitely think I code switch in the sense that like I like when I'm talking to my immediate family
Mm-hmm.
versus when I'm talking to friends or coworkers or or the like. However, I think the one personality that shines through in every aspect is like, I don't give a shit. It's like across the board.
Okay.
But how I convey not giving a shit changes. But when
It's
it comes
different.
to your family, I feel like I'm the same with all of them.
No, you
But
match
how I am with
energies.
them, all of them collectively is different than how I am with another side of your family.
Oh yeah.
The other side, your mom's side. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
think I'm like how my personality and how I the language that I guess I would use with one side of the family versus the language with another side of the family, of your families, is very different, as well as totally different with your husband's side of the family. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think
Yes.
that I'm like, I don't think I'm me, obviously, because I'm me, but I'm not like comfortable me.
Do you think there's ever a moment, and pardon me if I'm stepping on your toes here, do you think there's ever a moment where code switching is negative?
Yes, it's negative when this happens a lot with white people. When they're around Black people, they like to use certain words. Like now all of a sudden they're like that. You know what I mean? Hey, homegirl. You don't use that word with anybody else. We have a mutual friend. And he's like, hey, homegirl. He says that all the time. I've never seen him say that to anybody else.
But I also wonder, you and I met him a really long time ago, and you and I have always called each other homie. So I'm wondering if he feels.
But we've never. Yeah, I guess maybe. But it's just a way of, I don't know.
Just the way he does it, right? Is weird.
Yeah, it's weird. But
yeah.
it's
I'm thinking about
like,
it now.
Homeboy. I don't. I say what up. I say what up to everybody. Like, what up is in my vernacular.
Yeah.
The only time I don't say is like at work. I'll usually say what's up. But
What
usually,
is
like,
up?
yeah, I'm like, what's up? How's everything? But like with family and friends, I'm like, what up? I always say what up. But it's just, but I feel like there are certain white people that will say certain words to me that don't know me, but talk to me how they think Black people talk to each other. And yeah, I talk to certain Black people like that, but it's like, I've never talked to you like that. So why are you code switching it to suit me? Did you spill your coffee?
I almost knocked over my my microphone. Sorry.
Oh.
I didn't know if it was making a sound.
No. Your expression indicated that something was happening. Something's happening. Something's happening.
It was happening.
But yeah, so it's like, I have friends, different nationalities and stuff, and even with different friends, I feel like I can talk one way with this group of friends, but I can't talk another way because this group of friends, if I talk ghetto, they're gonna think I'm ghetto.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
You can't just be yourself and just there's certain groups of people in this country that believe that you are your skin and what society has depicted that skin to mean. And so it doesn't matter if you have education or anything like that. That doesn't matter. You are a Black woman and you probably wasn't raised with your father. You're single, whatever. And, the hood is like close by, either you from the hood or, like, it's just a stereotype. And so then they try to come with you with those stereotype language that they seen on Friday. And it's like, yeah, I never seen.
So, you know what? You just reminded me of something. I perhaps I put my foot in my mouth. I'm not sure. And it just tumbled out of my mouth. And I didn't realize, like, oh, maybe I hurt her feelings after.
My feelings?
No, some other chick. I'm gonna give you the story. And then I was like, well, whatever. I have to shake it off. But when you just said that, like, it just reminded me. So I'm sitting at the baseball field and I'm in the bleachers and I'm talking to this mom and she's like, oh my gosh, did I ever tell you I went to the Friends experience a few weeks ago? I'll go, so did I. Let's see if we have the same pictures. She was able to take her mask off. You and I went, we had our masks on.
Right.
We both pull up our phones and we pull up a picture. And when we both turned, all her friends look like her. She went with 4 friends.
Okay.
They all exactly same hair, same skin tone. I couldn't tell the eye color.
Right.
But I went, oh, that looks like a picture of Village of the Damned. And when I turn mine, it's like you, me, and then our third friend. The 3 of us look different. And she was
and we're
like,
all different nationalities.
And she looked at my picture. She looked at her picture. She went, huh. that. And I was like, oh, that's creepy kind of.
Why did she say, look at that?
Because she didn't know what to say. I was like, oh, you all look alike. That looks like a picture of Village of the Damned. And it's that old movie where all the kids, it's like,
yeah, I know.
But all the kids, like boy, girl, they all like look alike, literally look alike. And they all looked alike. And she just looked at my picture and looked at her picture, looked at her, she went, oh, never noticed that. And I was like, oh. And I think I might have hurt her feelings. Or maybe I didn't, I don't know, but it was kind of rude to say. I'm not apologizing for it though, I'm just saying, but I think it might be rude.
It is what it is.
But it just made me, like your one of the things that people don't, and I don't think they will ever realize, where it's that, you know, like I've pulled Denzel Washington's statement so many times. It's not color, it's culture. And the American subculture of a Black or Hispanic woman, especially, I'll use you as an example, a dark-skinned woman, the constant code switching that you have to do is exhausting if you call someone else to do it. And like you said, so you posted something on your social media about bonnets, and somebody had made mention, not to you, but somebody had made mention, like, don't wear your bonnet in public.
Yeah.
But why not though? But why not though?
Right.
Hispanic women are known for having rollers, and then, you know, a doobie, like a bañito, a scarf over it,
right,
you know, as their hair is setting. So, and it's not the same thing as a bonnet. I don't know if it's perceived outside of the Hispanic culture to be negative or positive. I don't know. I'm not talking about other cultures.
right.
But it's for you to say that a woman preparing her hair and she's going in public.
Pam, this is why I record at the beach.
You need something from the store?
No.
Okay. DJ?
You're gonna stand there until I answer you. No, I don't need anything. Thank you.
I'm a racist.
My God.
Love her. Shut up.
She's just standing there looking at me. I'm like, yes. Anyway.
But the amount of code switching that has to be done, and it's something as simple as like, just gonna wear my hair bonnet and run out real quick, or run all my errands real quick, or not quick. Who cares?
Right.
Who cares? Or you know, I have to act this way. Oh, if you speak that way, it's not professional. You look this way, it's not professional. What truly defines professionalism besides doing the job that you're being paid to do,
right,
and finishing the job that you're being paid to do? Because honestly, last time I checked, surgeons look like they wear pajamas.
True. And nurses and dentists and dental assistants, and so yeah.
So I'm just saying.
I think you're so right, and I just feel like, you know, it can be exhausting, but at the same time, it's like you're used to it at this point. Like I quit one of my jobs the other day, and you know, my boss reached out to me and was like, so what's going on? You know, why did you quit? And I was like, I don't see any room for growth. And he's like, why would you think that? And I was like, well, I've applied for several different jobs, and the boss that I had, he just got let go, and I don't know what else there is to do. He's like, well, you didn't communicate. Have you been communicating? I was like, who am I supposed to communicate? Like, my point of contact is my boss. And just for some context, for those of you listening and watching, I work for a company where I work in field work, and so I don't report to an office. I report to somebody on a phone that's like based out of Idaho or some shit, Tennessee, I think he was. And so it's not like I can go in the office and schmooze and, like, you know, find out who's in HR and
knock on his door.
It's like, I don't know anybody. I've never met anybody that I work with. Actually, that's not true. When I started training, I met that person, you know, but it's like, you work on your own, you work solo. And so my point of contact was my boss. And so the new boss, he was just basically like, why didn't you communicate that? And I'm on the phone, and the way that I'm talking to him, I realize that I'm utilizing my vocabulary where I wouldn't use that vocabulary in a day-to-day conversation with my friends. Like I don't use, like I don't say I rarely, but unless I'm having like a deep conversation, like I think I said something like I ascertained the from not getting any feedback from corporate or any other executives in the company that I was no longer a client, no longer a candidate for any of these positions. But if I'm talking to my mom or my friends, be like, they ain't want me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's how you communicate. So I was going to be like, y'all ain't want me, so I'm leaving.
Yeah.
But you got to communicate it in a way where they're not looking at, they got to look at you and like, we lost somebody who's educated and has experience. We're losing somebody that's educated and has experience and can communicate well, versus somebody came to them with like, whatever, y'all is whack, I don't even give a shit, fuck you, fuck your job. But you know what I'm saying? So it's all in how you communicate. Not to say that that has anything to do with being Black, but when you're Black, I feel like you got to be extra. You got to be like, and I remember when Obama was running for president, they were like, he's so articulate, he speaks so well. I'm like,
but he's running for president, shouldn't he
like,
be?
why is that such a shock? He's a Harvard graduate, for God's sakes. Like it's like, still the man, like you said, he's running for president. He's got all this vast education. He's a senator, and you're like, he speaks so well. And that's one of the failures of our society, is that we put all of these biases on people based on color, and it's
So
fucked up.
there's a cognitive behavior theory, and I forget who the theorist is, but it had to go back with like anthropological and cognitive behavior theory and how it's intertwined in professionalism.
Right.
So when we're taught ELA, English Language Arts, we're taught to write differently than we speak.
Right.
When we meet someone who speaks exactly how they write, we view that person at a higher education, because it takes work to write, convey in writing how we speak. And I'm not talking writing in text messages or quick email. What I'm talking about is your dissertations, your papers, your published articles, even professional emails that are going to be at length to outside sources, not within the company. They're not usually written how we speak. So the cognitive behavior and anthropological intertwining dictates that when you write how you speak, you're at a higher intelligence.
Right.
So how cognitive behavior theory ties into that is that we are conditioned to believe someone who is visually articulate, someone who visually speaks the way someone would write, we hold them at a higher standard. So what that means is, look at the standards that we set forth when it comes to writing. We're preconditioned to say conversational dialect,
Right.
would be not intelligent. So the way you and I would talk to each other, especially if we're talking slick, we're taught to say that that's ghetto, but only a certain subclass of American is allowed to speak that way, where Anglo identifying white Americans don't speak that way, and are not welcome to speak that way. They must be of higher intelligence. So there's a cognitive behavior where we're conditioning not only ourselves, but others to think that way. So as time progresses, as the world has changed and is continuing to change, we're going to view that differently. But here we are, one Black, one Hispanic. I'm not taking away from the work that you have to do, or the extra work that you have to do to be viewed a certain way. But I'll just say, for me, when I get looked at, I'm looked at in a few different lenses, depending on what makes the other person comfortable. So I might have to work 3 times harder, or 2 times harder, or 1 time harder, or none at all, because there's not much expected of me.
I
So
I can make an assumption with you that with like first glance, depending on what group you're in, like you don't have to work. Then you open your mouth and you say, I'm Puerto Rican. Now you got to work that angle. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of fucked up because there's a vast majority of white people who base people based on the color of their skin. And once they start to learn the background of that color, then they, you know, then they have all these other expectations and expect you to live up to expectations that they have set in their own world. And it's kind of messed up.
It's funny because I often get a, Puerto Rican? Where'd you grow up? Why do you talk like that? Where's your family talks like that too?
I think you should start like calling people on it. Like really, not like I'm not talking like passive aggressively, because you are the most passive aggressive person I've ever met, and you expect them to get it and they don't always get it. They're just like, what? I don't understand. Because there's some people that you have to tell them, be straight up, like, you got a problem with me being Puerto Rican? Why are you acting like that? And see what they say.
Yeah,
because they're really, then all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm a cicada, I'm going back underground for 17 years.
I usually get why, because I'm not wearing big hoop earrings and red lipstick, or like I'll say that was used to be my go-to phrase. Now it's like, that's funny, because every Puerto Rican I know looks and sounds just like me.
Right.
And they're like, oh.
Or just be like, we're not a monolith, but okay. And then they're gonna be like, what's a monolith? Anyway, one of the things too with code switching is how not just the language, but not just the verbal language, but your body language. How you react, how you move in the world with other people. So I'm going to show this video. I shared it with you. I'm going to share it with the public. It's from Comedy Central. We've seen this video before. Speaking of Obama, for those of you that are going to be just listening, it's basically a skit. What is it? Is it Peele?
Key and Peele, yeah.
Peele though, right? Jordan Peele, where he's imitating.
Oh yeah, right.
Where he's imitating President Obama.
It's like there's a clip that's almost.
May God bless America.
Couple introductions with the chat. John O'Rourke.
Nice to meet you, John.
Mr. Ian Roberts.
Nice to meet you.
Peter Tencio.
All right. Nice to meet you.
Jerome Smith.
Come on, bro. What's up, fam? You know this.
Keith Williamson.
Nice to meet you.
Mary
All right.
Woodbury.
Nice to meet you.
Jay Martell.
Nice to meet you, sir.
Tasha Robbins.
Come on. Feel that?
Emily George.
Feel that? All right. Nice to meet you.
Daryl Stokes.
Come on. What's up, fam? How you doing? All right. Never forget about that, because that's all we got. Nice to meet you. All right. Oh, bring it in. Start from the bottom, now we're here.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you. All right. Nice to meet you. All right. Nice to meet you.
1-8 black.
Afternoon, my octoroon. Come on, bring it in there.
I'm in there, dog. I'm in there, dog.
You tucking it in there? What's your duck, dog? What's your duck, dog? You tucking it?
I'm in there. Come in there. I'm in there.
All right. Nice to meet you, man. Nice to meet you. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. Oh, she is so beautiful. I want another one. There you go. Precious. Beautiful. Beautiful. What's her name?
Oh, this is Livia Ruggi.
Okay. Nice to meet you, Miss Ruggi. All right. Now, come on. There he is. Whoa. All right, very good to meet you. All right.
Here we go. Right this way, sir.
I can't. So basically,
I love that.
for those that are for those who still plans. Okay. For those of you that were just listening, he's basically going down the line, meeting different people as President Obama. And, you know, with the black people, it's like, what up, though? With the white people, nice to meet you. And if that shit is not so on point.
Did you remember the clip that they put around with him at a basketball game and he's shaking hands and then he like comes in with like so it's funny enough. So in Puerto Rico, there's a way like you greet each other. It's like, "Que lo que," right? "Que lo que." It's a quick little like, "What's going on? What's up?" Right? So I used to work at a mortgage company and there's like, they separate you in teams. And there was always like the Spanish team. The one other person that the Puerto Rican that was there, it was not like, "Hello, how are you? Good morning. Es que lo que." And then if you're good at de las carnes hasta los huesos, from the meat to the bones. And it's just like, you have de los carnes hasta los huesos. So not too many people, like even other Spanish people, you don't greet each other that way. Right. But it's such a familiarity. And right. It's so funny how like, you just like, there's like, I don't know. I loved it. I love that skit. I love it.
Because it's so true. Like in life, it's like, it's the body language too of code switching. How you give somebody a fist pump, a pound, a shake, handshake, a hug, depending on, even if you don't know them, like there's two people in front of you, two different nationalities, and you're like, okay, this is how we greet. But don't do it to us. I don't want to hear what up though. You don't know me like that.
Yeah. You don't know.
Like, what up though? And then try to give me like, well, I'm a female, so I rarely get, the pound and the hand, the handshake.
I love that clip of Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade where his boy like gave it to Gabrielle Union and was like, and like, remember it was like he gave her a dap, and it was just like how your boy greets your girl. It was just so like like some people like, that's how you respect your boy's girl. Like it was just such a good one, but it's so funny.
I think about my mom, like even like when I'm walking with her, she says hello to all the black people and she don't even know them. I'm like, who is that? She's like, I don't know. We went to a Knicks game. She had me take a picture with the security guard. So I'm like, she was like, we had like this thing where we were sitting in like this VIP area where they had a buffet. So you go to the area and the security guard was guarding the buffet. So my mom, every time she's like, hi, like a big smile, how are you? Good. But they're like trained to be super nice because it's like, these are high end.
Right.
They didn't spend $30 on the ticket, basically.
Yeah.
Greet them, make sure you see their ID or whatever. So then when we're leaving, my mom's like, oh, take a picture. So I'm like, who is that? She's like, I don't know. I just met her tonight. I'm like, what? Y'all,
what? I got pictures with a stranger.
Yeah, but it's like, that's how I describe like a lot of the dynamic with black people. I mean, I don't know that I see that a lot with white people. I mean, I'm not looking for it either, but it's like a family, a familiar, a cultural thing.
Yeah.
And it's just funny to watch. I mean, I'm not like that though. So it's not like we all do that. Just because you see my mama doing that, don't be trying to take a picture with me because I don't know you like that.
That's weird to me. Ew, no, I'm not taking a picture with you.
Exactly. But it's cool. It's cool. I don't know. I think that like with code switching, it's like the dynamics are just, I don't know. It's like, it's crazy. It's crazy.
It's tricky and it's also not. It's okay and it's also not.
Yeah, but when is it not though?
When it's inauthentic.
Okay, right. Yeah, I can see that. I'm saying I could see that. You know what I mean? All right, I'm gonna are we gonna put this topic to bed?
Oh, sure.
Put a bow on it and put it to bed and move on.
Okay.
No, do you got something else to say?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Why do you sound so melancholy?
I don't know. It was like me, how I always do my exits. Like I just leave like So it was kind of like, we're done, right? Like, okay.
I'm sorry. I didn't think there's anything else to talk about with that, but
No,
yeah,
you're right.
we both code switch. We both been, I mean, we, it is what it is. You code switch. It is what it is.
All right.
All right. So moving on. We're gonna make a quick transition to.
It's time for Tamika's thoughts.
Oh, is it really now? Is it really? Okay. Some of you may have seen the news about Puff Daddy. Yes, I still call him that. We know his name's Diddy and it's P. Diddy. And, he changed his name to Love, but he's Puff Daddy to me. So we've seen the news about Puff Daddy and his partnership with Salesforce to highlight Black businesses via a newly created app called Shop Circulate. On the surface, it's hard to criticize a venture such as this. The aim of the partnership is to have a curated digital marketplace for Black entrepreneurs to reach clientele they wouldn't have otherwise been able to access. Since the onset of the pandemic, apps such as this have been popping up left and right, making it much easier for people from all walks of life to access goods and services from every corner of our country. So what's the issue? As it turns out, a high school student from Newark, New Jersey named Drixon Kaiser came up with an app called Circulate that was created in 2020. The app was created to help people discover Black businesses and professionals. From barbershops and hair salons to mechanics and home services, Circulate has been doing what Puff and Salesforce announced that they would be doing. What's the difference between them and other businesses that are doing the same, you might ask? Well, let's start with the name, the logo, and the color scheme that Puff and Salesforce presented, which is damn near identical. It's a ripoff in my eyes, in the eyes of many others, who so much so that Puff took down his post announcing the joint venture after being called out by Drixon. We still haven't heard from Puff since this week's podcast, but who knows what's brewing. At the end of the day, this example shows how hard it is for local companies and entrepreneurs to get a foot in the business when the larger conglomerates and names take up the most space. I hope Drixon and his business partner, sister Olivia, who is a junior in college, can find their footing, get the funding they need, and show that hard work, perseverance, and standing up for yourself goes a long way in achieving the goals you set for yourself. Now, if only I can apply that to my damn self. Marissa, where can they catch us?
Yep, yeah, yes, 18 on Instagram and Twitter. The Yep, yeah, yes podcast on Facebook.
Oh,
Any
damn, I didn't
streaming
change my background. Shit.
Any
I'm gonna
streaming
change it.
device.
What?
Shut up and let me tell the people where they can find us.
So I'm gonna do it all over again. So this week. Cause I be using this for a clip, yo. Shoot, I done fucked up. So I'm gonna just repeat the last couple of sentences just so I can have a clip. No, anyway, Marissa, where can they catch us? Where can they catch us? Your girl is fucked up. Your girl messed up.
Stop it. Yep, yeah, yes, 18 on Instagram and Twitter. The Yep, yeah, yes podcast on Facebook. Any streaming device that streams something, just say said device. Please play the Yep, yeah, yes podcast. Don't forget to download and subscribe on YouTube. Yep, the Yep, yeah, yes podcast.
You know what? I'm gonna need you next time to give me a heads up. Like, hey, change your background. We're in this together.
Do you see spectacles on my face right now?
No.
So do you really think that I can see your background right now?
Yes. Does it look like the same? What is it? What does my background say? It looks different. It's not black and white. All I need is just some backup. Like, hey, cuz, what up? Look, before you start, change your background. Before you continue, change your background. Your audio sounds funky, fix it. Anyway,
Oh, girl.
I'll talk to you next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye.